Where are you from?
UFT.
Wow. Remind me of this.
Stephanie.
I don't think you're from the I don't know actually.
All right, you know what? I was fired for not getting the COVID shot. Former UFT, so you didn't stand up for us. Okay. You allowed us to go without due process.
Okay. You're not here to make a scene.
She asked, I was just letting her know.
Yeah.
We don't count, right?
That's what I'm saying. Now I understand.
Now you understand. You got us fired.
This is not the place though, okay?
Hello and welcome to Teaching Liberty. As you can see in this video, we are going to go over my run-in with Randi Weingarten, head of the second largest teachers union in the nation, the American Federation of Teachers, and my former union. I was a member of the UFT, which is the largest local of the AFT. And previously, Randi was head of the UFT. It pretty much always goes that head of the UFT then goes on to become head of the AFT. She was called in by the House Subcommittee that's going over the government's pandemic response to testify about her interaction with the CDC and the process which led to the creation of the CDC's school reopening guidelines. And coincidentally, or not, I just happened to be in Washington, D.C. and decided I would stop on by and pay her a visit. I thought this was an appropriate place to start with Randi raising her right hand and swearing to tell the truth. Now, did she tell the truth? Obviously not.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you, Chair Wenstrup, Ranking Member Ruiz, and members of the subcommittee. I thank you for the opportunity to discuss my members' work during the COVID pandemic.
She does this thing with her hands by members' work, and you can see the moments when she's like really trying to be, authentically outraged. She gets like both of her hands start flailing around. It's pretty ridiculous, to be honest.
Teachers work creatively, often past the point of exhaustion to teach and reach their students, like Kara McCormick-Lyons from White Plains, who's here with us today. I'm going to ask the three of
You see, they set this up.
them to stand in a minute. School bus drivers drove their routes to drop off meals and learning materials, like Lisa.
I think she's just like trying to pretend that she has emotions, or this is what somebody who really cares about people would sound like and would do. It seems so phony to me. I can't believe teachers buy this.
Rogers from Albuquerque and school nurses like Beverly Scott from Cleveland navigated the challenge.
Then you can see this is me right here sitting. So, and then this is her. And then let's point out some other people that are here. Maya Wiley. She was a candidate in the New York mayoral race. She was one of the super, super progressive candidates. All these other people in the room are AFT people. So they're either from the AFT headquarters, which is right down the block in Washington, D.C., or they're teachers and nurses that the AFT had fly in or drive in for this event so they can do this theatrical, like, oh, look at these teachers and how much they care. Nobody's disputing that, right? But, they have to put on their show. And then I think that there's probably some lawyers in here and other political allies. One of them is Randi's wife. But this is me sitting right here with the white shirt and the blue jeans on the end, pointing my camera. And as we are going to see in a moment from the clip I'll play, before the hearing, I came in with my camera out because that's what I do. I am independent press. I am making a documentary about school closures and childhood and the part that Randi played in shaping the policies which were so detrimental to children and to their education and really to teachers. And that's what this is about. So I come in with my camera out and people start going, oh, who's that person? They need to have press credentials. And one of the women come up to me and they're like, you need to sit down. And I'm like, who are you? And she's just somebody from the AFT. You're not anybody in the government. You're not a court room official here or hearing room official? And she was just like, nah. And I'm like, yeah, you go sit down. Anyway, so now they're kind of privy to what I'm doing and they start trying to impede my view with the camera. And I guess let's just play the clip, right? You'll see these things going on, and then Randi will turn to me and say, well, who are you? As if I just caught her eye. And it's all right. So here we are. These people are all sort of standing up, standing around, and they had done that to impede my view of Randi. I kind of put the camera down, and Maya Wiley had come in, and they sort of forgot about me. At least the filming portion of it. They had been talking to Randi, and she had been plotting what she was going to do. And this is the moment where we have our interaction.
Where are you from?
UFT.
She goes, who are you? Where are you from? And I say, UFT. And, wow. Remind me your name?
Stephanie. I'm sorry?
Do you know Evelyn?
If I know this woman, Evelyn. I'm like,
No, I don't know if we've met. Hi.
Yeah. You don't know Evelyn.
That's great. I'm UFT.
if you don't know Evelyn, then you're not UFT. Like, I'm sorry. Does Evelyn know every single member of the UFT? That's pretty crazy. Like, she's just astonished that somebody would be in the courtroom that's not one of her people. And then I want you to look when we have this interaction, how her wife and like the other people that are in the front row, they sort of turn their heads and they look at me like, oh, the audacity of this person.
All right. You know what? I was fired for not getting the COVID.
I was trying to play it kind of cool. I wasn't trying to like have super confrontation. I still do get mail from the UFT though. I was just trying to play it a little bit cool, but she's like, well, I'm like, fine. You want to know? I'm one of the teachers who you got fired. And she's like, oh, I see what's going on here.
All right. You know what? I was fired for not getting the COVID shot. Former UFT, so you didn't stand up for us. Okay. You allowed us to go without due process.
Okay. You're not here to make a scene.
She asked. I was just letting her know.
Yeah.
We don't count, right? Now you understand. You got us fired.
This is not the place, though. Okay.
And it just sort of continues on this way for a few more minutes. The hearing was taking its time getting started. So that's what happened before the hearing. We had our interaction. She knew exactly who I was and why I was there. And during the hearing, I don't know if she was planning to say this and take credit on record that she got teachers fired for not getting the shot, or if my presence there kind of made her do this in a reactionary way. I don't want to take credit for doing something. However, she did point me out when she made this point. So I certainly had somewhat of a lasting impact on her mind. So I'll play that clip from the hearing now.
As many people vaccinated, our members vaccinated, even on a mandatory basis as possible, to open schools.
And on that point, and I support that, by the way, I think you guys made the right decision.
And look, there's someone in this audience here today who disagrees with me about it, and so what I'm saying though is that.
So as you can see, Randi proudly took credit for getting members of her union fired. The union that is legally required to represent us in such matters, since they have a monopoly on that, right? I, as a teacher, cannot choose to go out and enter into my own contract with the school district. Whether I am a member of the union or I'm not a member of the union, I am obligated to follow whatever deal they negotiate with the city. Plus, I was a tenured teacher. As you're going to see afterwards when I confront her, the union stands up for teachers that do despicable things, including teachers who are pedophiles. And yet, tenured teachers who simply wanted their religious beliefs respected, their medical situations respected, their philosophical beliefs respected, their bodily autonomy, to not have an experimental shot that she admitted on Michael Cain's show. Michael Cain is founder of Teachers for Choice, which is the organization which is really leading the medical freedom fight in New York in general, but definitely specifically for the teachers. She came on his show and admitted that she knew the vaccine does not prevent transmission. And yet, on record, she proudly takes credit for having people like me fired. I sent this to my lawyer. He seemed to think that it was an important piece of evidence for our case, and so we are going to continue fighting this out in the courts. There are many, many lawsuits going on from all different angles, religious, medical, professional, right? Because there are civil servant laws that apply specifically to teachers. Because the unions have a monopoly, as I just explained, you cannot work with the school district unless you accept the contract the union has negotiated. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to keep fighting that fight. Let's go ahead and to finish things up, I'm going to play the final clip when the hearing ends and everybody gets up. So all the AFT shills and go into the hallway, and round of applause for Randi. So this is one of the main Democrat representatives. I believe it was Ruiz, and he comes over to thank Randi. Thank you, Randi. Thank you, right? Because they're Democratic operatives. The AFT is a Democratic operative organization.
person that's like hanging out off screen, you can't see her, that's standing closer to me. So they sent in these 2 security people. So you can see these are all sort of the main people. I think that this guy with the tie and the bald head, he's either a lawyer, some type of security or something. He's always very close to her. And then it looks like she's might be talking to some reporters, or I'm not sure who these people are, but they're getting a comment from her. Like I got in there and then this guy tried to walk right in front of me, and you can't see her on camera, but there's a security person that's like right on me. She's a Capitol Police, not security. These are like her hand-picked journalists. He has some, yeah, that looks like press credentials.
Randy, you don't feel bad getting me fired for not taking the vaccine? You stand up for everybody else. The teachers who get pedophiles, but teachers who wouldn't get the vaccine, you won't, right?
Shame on.
Teachers who, every other teacher, everybody else, but you don't get.
Shame on you. So he's saying shame on me for saying that they'll protect these other teachers, but for us, I won't. And then I go on to say, listen, they're coming for you guys next. I know you think you're safe now. You're in their good graces now. But when that next thing comes, it's all about the union, not about the workers, not about the people they profess to represent, and certainly not about the kids who they're teaching in the schools. I definitely have a lot more to say about Randi, about the teachers union, but I just wanted to share those clips of my interactions with Randi. That's the first time we've ever met in person, and to show you how she reacted when they're caught off guard in situations when they don't have all of the control over every single person who is there and the question that's going to be asked. They're not used to that pressure being put on them. They like to hide behind saying nice things and being such a nice person and pretending that when people ask hard questions or put them in real situations that we're the bad ones. We're being combative. We're out of line. We're out of place. No, we have to put the pressure on these people. We have to show up in person and show them our humanity. Because they're so used to having the buffer of their people, of the media, of the screen of the computer, not to be out of control, not to be disrespectful, not to be some crazy person. And it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I was definitely shaking. You can hear it a little bit in my voice. I sort of couldn't come up with anything to say at one point. And that's okay.
You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to say the perfect thing. You get better at it and it becomes easier with time. But we have to show up, we have to ask the questions, and we have to put the pressure on them. Everybody has their own way. Maybe this isn't your way, and I certainly have critiques about what I could have done better or more effectively. But again, I wasn't even sure what to expect. I was trying not to get kicked out of there, and I was trying to be respectful. I don't want to be some rude person. I don't want to be some crazy person, but I think that this is an underused tactic. Too many people see this as too aggressive. They'll write their letters, they'll make their posts on social media, they'll show up and they'll do their testimony at the hearing in front of the city council or the school board or the state house. But we have to show up, and not just when these leaders come in and be like, oh, thank you so much. No, shake their hand, say thank you, and then ask them the hard question. Why did you do this policy, which has led directly to young men out on the streets committing violence?
So when it comes to things like the vaccine mandate, right, that's preventing kids from being able to access sports or being able to access after school activities. Yeah. So what do you say to those kids that cannot access sports and things like that because of the vaccine mandate?
Well, we're here to talk about the epidemic of gun violence, and we don't do enough. We have to do much more.
Right, but specifically about the vaccine mandate, right? The vaccine mandate. No, I know you have to go, but you should answer this question, right? Because I know you got to go now because I'm asking you about the vaccine. Okay, so let's talk about gun violence. No, okay. So, but we said you acknowledged yourself. You acknowledged yourself. You have my mic. You have my mic. You have my mic. You have my mic. I need my mic. Thank you. Thank you for not answering my question. Thank you.
He agreed to an interview, and I didn't just fawn over him like everybody else at these events. I cannot stand that. When you show up to these events and the mayor shows up or some school board member shows up and everybody's just like, oh, thank you so much for your service. I'm not saying to be disrespectful. Be nice. But there's a difference between being nice and just totally ignoring the truth so that everybody can just get along and nobody has to answer any hard questions. No, if the mayor is at an event that I am at, I am going to ask him the hardest question. If the superintendent is at an event I'm at, I'm going to go up, I'm going to shake her hand, and I'm going to say, what are you doing to get the other 68% of the students in our district at a proficient level of math? Because in my school district, only 32% of the students are proficient in math and only 40% are proficient in reading. And you better believe every time I'm in front of the superintendent, I remind her of those facts, and that is not rude. It is not disrespectful. It is not being combative. It is not being non-collaborative. It is putting the truth of the matter on the table and saying, what are we doing about it? And I need more people to step up and do the thing. Not just say it in the private group chat. I need you to stand up and speak the truth to the people who are in power to their face. I'm going to continue to lead by example. I know not everybody can play the same role, and there's many different fronts to this battle, but I think that this is an important one, and more of us need to be fighting on it. So I invite you to join me with your beautiful face. Let me know what you think about this video, about my thoughts in those comments down below. Make sure you've liked this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you've hit that notification bell. And I think the most important thing you can do is share this video or one of my other videos with one of your friends. We have to spread the good word of liberty far and wide, because when you think free, you live free.
Come on.